Hey, what's up, Warren? This is a demo video for you for your customized Subversion. The Saber is by Ignition Saber Company and Gary Morris. The customization was done by Carl over at Vaults of Valhalla. Just to show it off a little bit, you've obviously seen it, but you had Carl do a theme on this saber that encompassed all the movies, all 9 movies, and I know that probably had to be pretty rough for him, but he pulled it off very well. So I wanted to show it off here as much as I can, especially up here. There's a lot of detail going on up here that you could spend quite a bit of time looking at because it's very cool. Working your way back down here, all the way around the saber, down to here. All this. All right. Now this is installed the CFX that you asked me for because you are planning on putting every character font on here. And as everyone knows, it's a little bit easier to do that with CFX because you could just number them and drop them right into the folder. But for now, I've got the 4 sound fonts from Keenan over at KSIF that you sent me. We've got TPM Obi, we've got Crimson Menace, Qui-Gon's, and then we've also got, or Qui-Gon, and we've got Young Solo. So all of those are on there. You gave me a particular order that you wanted 3 of those put in, so I did, but you didn't mention Young Solo, so I just put that at the very end. When you look at your sound or your SD card, there's going to be 4 fonts. The Young Solo is number 4. All right. One thing very unique about this, you had asked me to do a Death Star crystal chamber. This is not something I've done like this. The only time I've done anything like this was a Predator saber that I did a long time ago, and I did a face hugger for the crystal chamber. So I kind of went with the same steps, although I had to find a Death Star. So I found the model for this Death Star for free on Thingiverse, and I don't remember who had the model up off the top of my head, so sorry about that. But it was a spinner. It was a Death Star spinner, right? So I downloaded that. I scaled it down to about 18%, and I printed it out. I printed it in resin. I actually printed about 3 of these at the same time, which reminds me, I've got these over here. I told you I would just ship these with the Saber as little mementos, but I printed 3 different scales. These are actually the 2 that were a little bit bigger and didn't work. If I can focus in on that, but that's what that looked like before I did anything to it. So I printed those out in resin like that, picked the one that worked, busted all these supports off of it, gave it a black wash with some black acrylic paint, let that dry a little bit so I could get into all the details of the Death Star, sanded down the outside so I could give it some depth, and then I resin printed a canister that's the same size as this crystal chamber. Carefully glued that guy right in the middle of that canister, and then I filled it up with some 2-part epoxy so it would stay in there. And my camera is hating trying to focus on that thing, but that's how I got that to be in there, and it's not going anywhere. All right. I also put 2 different accents. I put a top Neopixel accent and then a bottom Neopixel accent. I did wire them together though, but they're wired on the LS2 pad on the CFX. So what does that mean for you? I mean, you can make this crystal chamber do whatever you want. It is independent of the blade. So for right now, it will match the blade color. It's going to pulse when the saber's off in the same color that the blade will be. And then when this, when the blade comes on, it will be that color. But I'll show you all that. For the sake of this video, I only put 1 screw in. But when you're taking this off and you want to put a battery in, there's going to be 2 screws. So you're going to have one right here and another one right here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this off. Take this off real quick. CFX does have a deep sleep mode, so you can leave your battery in here if you like. And it does not have a kill switch. All right, so you'll unscrew both of those screws and then come over here and unscrew the pommel. Just don't want to drop it. Once you take that off, you can slide this off. All right, and this is your CFX board right here. So this comes with a chassis already. You didn't have the CFX board thing for this chassis. It's all right. I just went ahead and I made my own, glued it in there. easy access to your SD card, so you can get in there and put all your sound fonts in there from right here. And it is a removable battery setup. There are a lot of wires under this guy. There's no hiding it on this particular chassis, so the battery will do a good job of hiding those wires. All right, you have a 28mm Smokeless Outpost Elite speaker right here. So we're going to grab a battery. You do have a spring in there, so please spring side for your negative over here by your speaker. I won't be sending a battery because this is going overseas.
Credits will live fine.
So we're going to snap our battery in there. I'm going to go ahead, hurry up and put everything on real quick, and then we'll go towards showing this guy off. All right. I'm just going to put one of the screws in here for now. I'll make sure I get both of them in there, though, before I send this off. So you put your screws in, then lastly you put the pummel on. Screw that all the way down. And this is Qui-Gon. This is Qui-Gon is the first sound font. So it's a green blade, green crystal chamber. And it is just going to pulse in that particular color. It is very bright. You'll be able to see the Death Star a lot better in person. On camera, that color wants to wash it out. But in person, it's very easy to see what it is. 2-button setup. So power up here. Good smooth swing. Auxiliary button is right beneath it. If you hold it down, you'll get blade lockup, but you'll see it in your crystal chamber as well. Alright, we'll turn it off. And we'll put a blade in this guy. This is made for a 1-inch diameter Neopixel blade. As always, it's set up for a full-length blade. I think I actually put 135 pixels on your config, but I'm going to use my test blade. All right, so again, we'll fire it up. 1 blade retention screw right here. Good flash on flash. Blade lock up. If you want to go to another sound font, just hold down auxiliary.
Sound bank selection.
Master Qui-Gon.
We're going to use the auxiliary to go to the next font.
Meet Obi-Wan Kenobi.
This is the TPM Obi. So when we hold down power to pick this font, you should have a blue crystal chamber.
Master, destroy it!
So now we're pulsing blue. All right. If you ever want to change color, you just hold down auxiliary and twist the saber. We just changed to that. Do it again. White one is pretty cool to see the Death Star in person, but again, it's kind of washing it out on camera. And then we'll go to another sound font.
Sound bank selection.
Meet Obi-Wan Kenobi. Darth Maul.
Crimson Menace.
At last we
Red
will
chamber.
reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
So you got that red chamber now.
Cell energy critical.
That cell energy critical is because this is a brand new battery and it needs to be charged. My regular test battery is in a different Saber, so I need to charge this one.
Cell energy critical.
You do have twist on and twist off, so that's twist on and twist off. All right, we'll go to another one.
Sound bank selection.
Darth Maul and Solo.
The fourth and final is the young Solo. We're going to get that sound energy critical again.
Cell energy critical.
And we have a nice blue blade, blue crystal chamber. I'm trying to be careful with this guy. I don't want to bang on it too much because there's a lot of paint on this, and I don't want to be the one to say that I was the one that ruined it. All right, but those are the 4 fonts. We'll go ahead and take the blade out. We'll take the battery out as well. I'll probably just take the battery out off camera because it's as simple as taking the handle off and taking the battery out. But that is basically your Subversion from TJ and Gary Morris and Carl Danby. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will get this out in the mail to you tomorrow. Thanks, man.